All right, hey, this is Local Frequencies that you're listening to, your connection to the local music scene. I'm Bree Morgan.
And I'm Cal Roberts.
And today we have Scott Wilcox with us. Hey, Scott.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi,
Pretty
Scott.
good. How are you doing today?
Fantastic.
Good. All right, so I guess we'll just jump right into it this time. Scott is a talker, which we love because then we don't have to do much of it. So I guess why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Scott?
Well, I've been a singer-songwriter since I was about 12 years old. I grew up in Tomah, Wisconsin. It's one of those things where, it's once it gets in your blood, it just never seems to leave. I took some time off. I played with a number of bands when I was younger in high school and all that, and went to college, got a degree, got married, had some kids, and then, one day I was a teacher at Brookwood, and during that time I had a student come to me, and he said, Mr. Wilcox, I love you to death, but I think you're a hypocrite. Yeah.
Oh, kids are so honest.
I know, right? I said, all right, I'll bite. Why am I a hypocrite? And he says, well, for the past 4 years, every single day you come to school, you tell all of us kids that we need to find our calling, that thing that makes us special. And then when we find it, we're supposed to pursue it with all our heart and our passion and our soul. And he says, you're not doing it. You got all this music talent, and you're doing nothing with it. So I said, all right, well, I'll take my summer and I'll give it a shot, all right? If I go out and play in front of people and they think I'm absolutely horrible, I'm coming back for you. I said, but if I go out there and people really like it, I'll consider doing it some more, And odd thing is, 3 weeks after I started playing out, I ended up on Oprah Winfrey and I sang for 45 million people.
Holy cow! Only
That's
3
awesome.
weeks out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How did you end up getting on Oprah?
Well,
like
my
quite
wife
the
and I were having a discussion. I'm doing the finger things right now.
Oh, the discussion.
The discussion.
I'm
one
not married
evening.
yet, but I know what those discussions are.
And during our discussion, the Oprah Winfrey show came on, and only reason we had it is because it was one of those freebies you get when you first sign up for your satellite network or whatever.
Yeah.
So we had it for about a month, and the topic of the day was letting go of your anger. And we thought, ooh, how appropriate.
Oh, how ironic.
So we watched the show and really got into it, and before you know it, I'm this closet Oprah freak, trying not to tell all my other guy friends that I'm watching Oprah on the side.
I'm an Oprah freak.
Yeah. So I'm watching Oprah, and I thought, hey, I should check out the website. That's how bad this is getting, right? So I go on the website, and this little box on the bottom says, if you like the Oprah Life Class show, send us in a video and tell us what you think. I thought, how stupid. If I'm a songwriter, I can't just tell her what I think,
Yeah, that's
So I had to write something.
Yeah.
So I started looking at all the topics of all the shows, and I thought, it's one of those moments where it just jumps right at you, and said, this is a song. So I wrote this song called When You Know Better, using all the topics of all the shows for the entire season. And then the chorus was based on a quote by Maya Angelou, who is one of Oprah's favorite poets and authors who passed away recently, that says, when you know better, you do better. Meaning that people like me, who make lots of mistakes, hopefully somewhere along the way, you pick up tools so that if you ever get put in that situation again, you can use those tools so that you can come out of it a little bit better than the first time. And I thought that was pretty appropriate for me. So I wrote the song, put it together, and then I had to do a video. So I was like, well, family photos, hey. So I made a slideshow and put it in the background, and set the whole thing in because I thought, it's 11 o'clock at night. Nobody's ever going to see this because, who looks at these things, right?
Are you from little old, where are you from again?
Tomah,
From
Wisconsin.
little old Tomah, Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I just
exactly.
sent in my video from Wisconsin.
And I just really didn't think anything of it. And, about 3-4 days later, I get a call from Harpo Productions saying, we love the song, we want you to be on the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So it was fantastic.
So what was it like being on Oprah in front of all those people?
I guess beforehand I was a little worried because, you get this idea in your mind of what famous people are like, and Oprah's so cool, and she's got all these, all this great aura about her, and then to think, what if I meet her and she's really not all that, But I got on the show and she was fabulous.
So you weren't even worried about, you weren't worried about performing, you were worried about meeting Oprah and her not meeting your standards?
Well, I mean, Bree, you guys know, you're performers too. I mean, when it comes to singing, I can do that in my sleep.
Oh, I know, right?
I
Put me
mean,
on stage.
I don't have to think
I got
about
that.
it, you know? But, you know, talking in front of 45 million people to Oprah Winfrey, I mean, come
Yeah.
on. So that's the part I was most nervous about. But I found her to be the most warm, wonderful, genuine person you'd ever meet. And she was fantastic. The show that I was on Skype. So I didn't get to, like, sit in the couch next to her and talk to
Yeah.
her and all that stuff. And I was like,
They didn't
"Eh."
fly out.
No.
No.
So... But,
Maybe next time.
But it was really cool talking live, and so
Yeah.
you know they said after the show, well, you know, Scott, we feel bad we didn't get to meet you in person, so why don't you come down to Chicago? So they gave me a tour of the place, and then we went out to eat, and it was really cool.
That's cool.
With
Yeah.
Oprah?
No, not with Oprah, but with lots of producers
So
and,
yeah.
and all that stuff. So yeah, she was like in Africa or something at the time.
Oh.
So, but it was really cool, and you know, you can check out the video footage of my Oprah show on my website, so at scottwilcox.net.
Okay. Yeah, so like Scott just said, he's got a website, scottwilcox.net. He's also got a Facebook page if you want to check him out. He plays all over the place, don't you, Scott?
Yeah. I play a lot in the Madison, Middleton area, but I also play in Milwaukee. Just got done playing in Wausau. I play in Sauk City area. I play, of course, in La Crosse, and going to be playing up in Eau Claire at Hoots on the Water. You know, so yeah, lots of different places. I really enjoy traveling. I enjoy meeting different people. You know, this past week has been just crazy. I played in Madison, Winona, and Viroqua all in the same week. So I mean, it was just phenomenal. So.
Awesome. Yeah.
So one thing that we were kind of touching on before we started the show here, music is your job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's really cool because a lot of musicians, speaking personally, I have a lot of, what do we call it? Support? Supplements? That's what we call it, a supplement. And I think you just kind of throw everything into it. That's what you do.
Well, you know, it sounds like all of a sudden I just kind of threw everything aside, but that's really not how it happened. After I was on Oprah, I still had a job at the time, you know, and as the phone started ringing, you know, I got busier and busier, and I had part-time jobs through that entire time. This is my first year of not needing a part-time job.
Oh.
I'm busy enough that I'm actually making as much money this year as I did my first year in teaching,
wow.
which isn't going to get me rich by any means.
No,
But, you know, it's nice to know that it's possible. I grew up with, you know, I love my mom to death, but in our family, the idea is that, you know, music is a hobby. It's not your
Yep.
day job. So, you know, it's really kind of nice to be able to know that maybe that was wrong. You know, maybe there is a market out there for it. And you still have to bust your tail. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
really got to work really hard. And the hardest part about being a musician isn't getting up on stage. It's all the pre-work. It's all the marketing.
Definitely.
It's
I
all the
feel like
booking.
you
it's
take a
all
week off and people are like, who are you?
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah.
what?
It's a constant effort, you know, and I'm probably not doing all the things I should be on social media, and I'm probably not calling enough people for booking. I'm probably not, but I'm doing enough to do what I love to do.
Right,
And,
yeah.
and you learn a little bit more every time you do it. So
Do you do everything on your own? Like, do you have a manager or?
I do not have a manager. Maybe I'm a control freak. I don't know.
Oh, hey, high fives
Yeah.
from here to
But,
controlling a little
you
bit.
know, I know what I want for my image. I know how I want to market myself, and it's really difficult to try and find somebody who can compliment you in that way. You know, I'm getting to the point where I'm busy enough that I probably will be looking for a manager or a booking company eventually because it's getting that busy and things are good. So
I can't even imagine. I feel like I need one some days, and I'm not even, you know, I'm not nearly as busy as you are.
yeah,
So,
I just played my
kudos.
135th show for the year. So
oh,
That's
holy
awesome.
cow, that's crazy.
yeah, so it's been fantastic. So scheduled for I think about 155. So
nice.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Kyle, do you got anything for
Me?
him? What about we got your albums sitting here
Yeah,
in front
4
of
of
us.
them.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about those from
Well,
first to last and
Yeah,
what you got coming up.
my first album came out, I think it was 2011, I believe. No, it was an album called Love Notes. Love Notes came out, and it was a dedication to my grandfather, who was a big, important part of my life. I talk about him a lot in my shows. He was a veteran of World War II, a prisoner of war from the Battle of the Bulge. He was really a great inspiration. He was also a professional musician. He played trumpet for Wayne King back in the big band days, and really was great. But after being captured by the Germans, he was suffered from malnutrition so bad he couldn't play trumpet again after that.
No.
So he put his eggs in the basket of his grandchildren, and I was one of them. So it was really nice that he taught me how to write music and kind of got the ball rolling for me. Then my second album came out, which is an album called Locally Famous, Widely Unknown, which really is a anthology of my life, pretty much. But it's based on an encounter that I had when my grandfather was 93 years old. He was passing away, obviously, and since he was a vet, he was at the VA hospital in Toma. One of those days, I went to the VA hospital and I started visiting him, and I went in the door, and I met this guy in the door, and he'd lost both of his legs, and he was sitting in a wheelchair, and he looked up at me and saw I had this backpack thingy for my guitar and said, "Hey, can you sing me Amazing Grace?" Well, how do you turn down a guy in a wheelchair?
No
so
way.
I said, all right, I've never really played it on guitar, but I'll do my best. So, Grandpa always said if you know 3 chords, you can play any song in history. So I threw my best version of Amazing Grace together, and I sang it for him. And when I got done, he said, you have absolutely no idea how much that means to me. And I didn't, but I thanked him anyway, and I kind of went on my way. I shook his hand. So the next time I came back, this male nurse, he runs up to me as soon as I come in the door, and I didn't see the guy, but the male nurse says, "Oh my gosh, what did you say to that guy last time we were here?" And I was like, well, I didn't say anything to him, really. He asked me if I'd played him Amazing Grace, and so I just sang him the song, and that was it. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's incredible." Well, I was lost. I was like, "Oh, why was that so incredible?"
You're like, thanks.
Yeah, and he says, he says that guy wasn't in here because he lost his legs. The guy was in there because he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. 3 years earlier, he had lost his legs in a horrible explosion in the Persian Gulf. And since the day of that injury, he hadn't spoken one word. He was selectively mute. The first words he spoke was, "Can you sing me Amazing Grace?"
That's awesome.
That's really what sparked a lot of this, is it made me realize that all I'd ever wanted to be from the time I was a little kid was a rock star. Wow, there's a little time I wanted to be a garbage man. All right, but other than that, this is the first time I realized, life isn't about being a big rock star. It's about making a big difference in your own backyard. And so that's why I've started all this stuff. I mean, I do Americana Music in the Park in Toma, and it's become really successful. We get about 350 people each time. I started Cran Jam. We're doing a music festival at the end of August every year now in Toma, and that started to take off. I'm also starting a new show in Madison called the Original Songwriter Showcase. And we showcase a different singer-songwriter every other week to open for me for my show. I was asked by them to do a full show, and I said, yeah, well, that'd be cool, but can I take part of the money I'm going to make and give it to an opener so that we can also showcase different musicians?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, well, I'm going to cut you off real quick here. We got to take a short break. We are Local Frequencies, and we'll be right back to hear more about, what was it, the Singer Showcase?
Yeah, Original Songwriter Showcase.
All right, we'll be right back to hear more about that. You're listening to Local Frequencies.
Goodbye.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Local Frequencies. We have Scott Wilcox with us here. And when we took a break, we were talking about oh my gosh, Scott, I'm so sorry, the Singer...
And the Original Songwriter Showcase.
Yes,
So.
yes. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the whole title is the Scott Wilcox's Original Songwriter Showcase.
Of course.
We really tried out the idea originally in Toma, and it worked out really well. I just found that it's really hard. Toma doesn't have a lot of great venues for being able to do something like that.
Right.
But I got asked by the Badger Bowl in Madison, Wisconsin, to do a regular bi-monthly, or what is that, every other week in Madison at the Badger Bowl. And I thought, what I like, it's part of my mission to kind of help pay back to other musicians as well, as what I wanted to do is find a way to help showcase other artists as well. So every other week we have a 3-hour show, and the show will be from 8 to 11. 8 to 11, I have to think about it.
He got out the fingers for that.
I know, I
It was
think-
like 8 to 9.
Well, I can only count to 4. I'm a musician. Give me a break. So it'll be from 8 to 11 on the first and third Thursday of every month. But it'll be something different for Madison. Madison has a lot of open mics, but they don't have anything that features original songwriters. So this will be kind of nice. So the first hour of every show will be featured an original songwriter from Madison or the Wisconsin area. And I think it'll be a good way to, help promote new music and also get my music out there as well.
So we're kind of in the same boat with us doing this radio show and you doing the showcase and stuff. It's really important to get local musicians out there.
I completely agree.
People don't know we're here, and
Yeah.
it's kind of sad because But so that's really cool. What kind of, I guess we've touched on your albums and stuff, but what kind of genre of music do you really focus on?
My primary genre is Americana blues. A long time ago, I talked to a Nashville producer, and the Nashville producer said, your music's great, but it's not Nashville country,
Ew.
And I started thinking, well, I'm from Wisconsin. How could it be Nashville country?
Really?
I guess I decided early on that I was going to be me. I wasn't going to try and be something else just to be famous. And so I guess, my response at the time was, well, I'm not from Nashville. I'm from Wisconsin. And when my country music comes out, it's going to be Wisconsin country. When my rock music comes out, it's going to be Wisconsin rock. And when my blues comes out, it's going to be Wisconsin blues. So you put all that together, and it's really sort of an Americana bluesy sound. So a lot of people are familiar with Americana music, but if you can put a little bit of blues twist to that, that's pretty much what you'll find in my music. A really good example of that is my song Holiday Road. As I always say to my audiences, I know there's another song called Holiday Road, but I actually live on Holiday Road, and we got a lot of crazy neighbors out there that are from all over the United States, and it's a really nice mix of cultures. And I think that's what makes it special, is to be able to celebrate the differences rather than saying, I'm just from Nashville and this is how Nashville sounds.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Wisconsin and this is how we sound.
That's
So-
kind of like
awesome.
like Kyle's and mine's song, that feels like home.
Yeah.
That's got like the same feel about,
Yeah.
we're from here and this is what our music is going to sound like. It's going to sound like where we're from.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, so I was going to ask you, who probably supports you the most right now? Like in your music career? I wouldn't even say right now. Who has been your biggest support throughout the years?
Well, first and foremost, my wife. She's been fantastic.
Did she tell you to say that?
No, no, she did not tell me to say that. Although I know she probably, would suggest it if I asked. But she's been fantastic. My wife has always been one of my biggest fans from the beginning, and I can't thank her enough being supportive through all this. How do you say, okay, I've got 2 degrees, but I want to be a musician? It takes a lot of support and strength to
Honey,
be able
I'm
to support
quitting my
that.
job tomorrow and I'm going to go sing.
So yeah, she's been fantastic, and it's really been a wonderful reward to see the success of it. So that's my first primary support there. Of course, is my wife, and my kids have been fantastic. I can't thank my fans enough. They know I'm doing something different that nobody else is doing, and yet they still support me anyway. They see that they like what they hear, and they keep coming back to my shows, and that's really nice to see, because it's not saying that I'm not getting my audiences anymore because I was on Oprah. I'm getting them because they really like what I'm doing. So that's a really nice compliment. So.
All right, well, we are going to take another short break, and when we come back, we will have a live original performance by Scott Wilcox. You're listening to Local Frequencies. All right, welcome back. You're listening to Local Frequencies. We have Scott Wilcox with us here today.
Hi, Scott.
And he is...
Hi, Kyle.
Yeah, poor Kyle hasn't really got to... Sorry, I'm kind of taking over the mic today.
Yeah. Well,
Today?
today, yeah.
Hey now. All right, so like I said, we have Scott Wilcox here with us, and he is going to perform a original live for us, and it is called Little Red Taillight. Take it away, Scott.
Met on a Monday in the night. said we moved too fast. Love was reckless, filled with passion. Knew it was never meant to last. Then I woke up in the middle of the night, watched her pack up her things without a fight. Now all I have is a little red tail light driving away on Midwest midnight, taking away the warm sunny day of mine. Oh, driving away in a Chevrolet with a radio on and tears on her face, isn't it all the night that I had in mind? Say goodbye to that light of mine. Where her hair would blaze with firelight, her face a grace light by the moon, spirit wild and free to burn bright. You always said it would end too soon. When I saw her leaving in the middle of the night, watched her pack up the things and leave my life. Now all I have is a little red tail light driving away on a Midwest midnight, taking away the warm sunny day of mine. Oh, driving away in a Chevrolet with a radio on and tears on her face, isn't it all the night that I had in mind? Say goodbye to the light of mine. Well, I don't know how I'll feel tomorrow, and I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I know our time is borrowed. So appreciate the day. Now all I have is a little red tail light driving away on Midwest midnight, taking away the warm sunny day of mine. Oh, driving away in a Chevrolet with a radio on and tears on her face, and isn't it all the night that I had in mind? Ooh, say goodbye to the light of mine on a Midwest midnight. Say goodbye to the light of mine.
That was awesome.
That's awesome,
Thank
Scott.
you.
I loved
Thank you.
that.
Why don't we write songs like that, Bree?
Well, because you're a pain to work with.
Oh. It's okay.
But what did I say on the first show? Kyle's the little brother I never wanted. That I know I'm stuck with.
I'm proud of that title. I proudly hold that.
Well, that was great.
That was
Scott.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
thank you.
much.
Thank you very much.
We only have a couple more minutes left, but if you could, we want to quick tell us like about that song, like where it came from.
Well, this particular song is about two people that fall madly, passionately in love. You know, but they kind of know from the very beginning that because it's so passionate, it's probably not going to last forever. So they make the most of every single day while they have it, you know. And as much as they try to keep it together, sure enough, one night, in the middle of the night, she packs up her things and she leaves. And the last thing he sees is the little red tail light of her car driving off in the distance. So,
That's awesome.
you know, I just think that a lot of people have been in that situation. So,
Definitely. All right. Well, we have come to the.
Wait, one more thing.
Okay, just kidding.
Just. What's your favorite color? Just
yellow.
yellow.
Yellow. Kyle always has to ask. Ask him the other one real quick.
Which one?
The least favorite album. Thing.
Oh, okay. You're stuck on an island. All right. You can have one album. All right, from your least favorite band.
One album from my least favorite band?
Yes.
Or like one song.
Gosh,
One song or one album from your least favorite band.
probably be a Tiffany song.
I'm sorry.
Alrighty, well, like, unfortunately, we are at the end of our show with Scott Wilcox. It's been great having you on, Scott.
Really
Thank you very
has.
much.
It was really fun. You're like really good at this. So, I'll do a couple of little plugs for you here. Scott is going to be on the Hello Wisconsin morning show, which is on WEAU out of Eau Claire on November 25th. And lucky duck him, he gets to be there at 6:15 in the morning. In the morning, people, like a.m. Okay, that's not a time to be up or going to bed. That's the time that you're sleeping.
He's also coming out with a new album, right?
Yes, and it'll be called Little Red Tail
And is
Light.
that song on it, right?
Yeah,
title
and that'll
track,
be the
yeah.
title track for the album. So.
No, Kyle, the song's not going to be on there.
Are you sure? No.
Is there anything else you want to say quick, Scott, before we end the show?
I guess I got a couple gigs coming up. I got one November 6th in the Wisconsin Dells at Springbrook, and I got another one in Milwaukee at Three Cellars.
Anything after the 11th?
Anything after the 11th? Yeah, I'm in Q's Bar at Prairie du Sac on the 13th, and Red Pines in Unalaska on the 14th.
Oh, fun.
Awesome.
Alaska's pretty close. So if you want to support Scott, like we all want to support our local musicians, you can head on up to Unalaska and hear him. Otherwise, you can find his stuff at www.scottwilcox.net.
Wait. www.
3 W's, not 2. And you can also find his Facebook page. Yeah. All of his stuff is on... What?
Blinking.
Oh, yeah. All of his stuff is on Facebook, on website, all that good stuff. We are local
Should that be
frequencies.
blinking?
Kyle, he's obsessed with a light bulb in here. It's weird.
I'm sorry.
But so, like I said, we are local frequencies, your connection to local music scene. You can stream this on WRJC on their app. You can go to our website and find the app. You can go to their website and find the app. We're on Wednesday nights at around 5:30. And yeah, that's about it.
That's about
Anything
it.
else?
No?
All right, so thank you for listening to Local Frequencies, your connection to the local music scene.
Goodbye.
All right.
Should that be blinking?
I think it's like the church